I should really start by thanking our owner, Eugene Melnick, and my team for their support in setting up for the future of this rebuild. I really want to thank our head pro scout, Jim Clark. Without him, we wouldn't be doing the great trades that we're doing for our future. His staff, Rob Murphy, Mike Abamont, John Purpich, Steve Sterling, and also our head amateur scout at Trent Mann, who's been here for the past few days, all helping out with making sure this rebuild is on the right path. I think it's important today to thank Mark Stone. We've seen firsthand how much he's invested in becoming the remarkable player that he is today, how he's contributed to our community, how much he means to our team. I'm sorry we couldn't convince him to stay. At the same time, we're thrilled to welcome Eric Brandstrom to Ottawa. In addition to being an exceptional young man with great leadership skills, high character, high talent, his presence on the ice is electric, and I'm confident that our fans will love him. We're also happy to have Oscar Lindberg as part of this trade, someone who's going to bring valuable experience to our lineup, and hopefully he'll be with us for years to come. We want to pursue this rebuild the right way. First, we're going to ask our veterans to lead. We're going to lead on the Pajot, the Borowickis, the Smith, the CECIs, the Ryan, the Andersons, the Tierney, the DeMello, to show the young guns the way. Second, we're going to invest in developing our young players. In addition to Shabbat, Kachuk, White, Brown, Batherson, Balsers, Wolanin, Jaros, Harper, Chaplik, Hogberg, Gustafson. On top of our prospects, Formington, Bernard Docker, Tyconic, DeCord, Nurmi. On top of the additions we've made this week, Abramov, Davidson, Duclair, we're going to give them all a very big chance to succeed. Third, we have a great opportunity to leverage our pipeline of talent, prospects, multiple picks, to deepen our talent pool, improve our draft positions in years to come, and attract players who buy into our vision and dedicate themselves to our organization and community. I understand how frustrated some of our fans feel. In time, however, we trust they will remember that one time ago, Phillips, Redden, Spezza, Neal, Havlat, Hossa, Fisher, Alfie were just prospects before they took us on an amazing run. One thing I can tell you is I think we have to tell our fans to be patient, but what's the expression? The pot of gold at the end of the road is pretty big and pretty good. The rainbow, sorry if I'm not very good with expressions, it's pretty good. What we've been able to do in the last 12 months as far as our rebuild, we've acquired some quality pieces. And I will go on the record today in saying the best piece we got is today. I can't express to you how, as a hockey group, we're so happy to get Eric Brandstrom. I can't tell you those pro scouts that were in there, assistant GM, myself, we all saw him personally. Saw him at the World Junior B and All-Star. We saw him at what a player of his caliber at 19 years old can do in the American League, not many have done. And we are excited about it. And me, as a hockey guy, I'm elated about it. I know today, when I brush my teeth tonight when I go to bed, and I'll look at myself in the mirror, I'll say, that was a long day, but we did something good for the Ottawa Senators today. Well, our last meeting and our last discussions were probably, last year's discussions were this past Friday. And we started this process. If you want details, I'm not afraid to give you details. We couldn't really do a contract until January 1st. His representatives were in Sweden from January 2nd to the 9th. We had meetings from January 6th or 7th to the 13th in Florida. We offered them to come down to Florida if they wanted to talk. On January 14th, we went to meet with them for the first time. And then through this process, we had meetings that no one knows about. And we respect Mark too much as a player that we were never going to make anything public. And we were down there again at their offices, if I'm not mistaken, this past Wednesday. And, you know, we exchanged proposals, and probably on Friday would have been the day that I would tell you that we knew that probably Mark wouldn't sign here. And it wasn't by lack of trying, but at that time we knew we needed to move on. And we'd had some preliminary discussions with some teams, and those talks heated up over the last few days. Well, I think first, I made the call for CODY to be a healthy scratch. Definitely wasn't because of how he's playing, because CODY's been above and beyond what we've expected out of him this year. You know, logging a lot of minutes, you know, with the loss of Erik Karlsson, being asked to play a lot of nights against the other team's top lines. So that was my call as general manager, because we had to protect the organization, because there were possible discussions. I plan to talk to CODY tomorrow. I'm flying to Washington. And, you know, I think CODY is as professional as they come. He's a good person. He's from Orleans. Pretty much everyone from Orleans is a good person. So I'm sure that there's no damage there, and we're going to move on. It's probably best for me to repeat the answer in English. Guy's our coach. I don't think anyone will disagree with me on this one, that I've made his job pretty difficult in the last few weeks, and we're going to support him.
Pierre, I guess the question is, why is it so difficult for this organization to keep players of star quality, guys that you've developed, like a Mark Stone, Ryan Dzingel, and just in looking back in the past, even a guy like Erik Karlsson?
The one thing is, when you're talking potential contract extensions, it's the player's right if they want to stay or not stay. We've made it clear through this process of these 4 players that we're in a rebuild, and it's their choice. We tried to sign all 4 of them. All 4 of them were offered contract extensions. And it's not that the fact that people want to stay or leave. I think it's the fact that it's their choice, and we have to respect that. That's the CBA. Our job here probably is to instill a culture where people want to stay here, grow here, and win here. And at that point in time, you'd have to ask them, because we felt that we went through the wall to sign these players.
On that note, when Mark Stone spoke to TSN just after learning about the trade, he said one of the things that he liked about Vegas was ownership's commitment to winning. So is it that potentially players don't want to stay here because they feel there isn't that commitment? I mean, how do you respond to that comment?
First of all, I'm sorry. At least I didn't hear the interview with Mark Stone, so I apologize. All I can tell you is that all the players knew it was a rebuild here. All the players were offered a contract to be here. I don't think it has anything to do with ownership. Hockey operations makes all the decisions here. An example of that today is, I think I phoned Eugene after the trade was done. I didn't talk to him all day until it was done. I think the best way to say it is that we're trying to build a culture here. We're trying to build a team here, and we want the players that want to stay here, and we're hopeful to attract some players as we move through this rebuild.